Classic Skinnerd, What's Your Name? 95.7 The Hog. Quinn's Afternoon Army. His name is Paul Stanley. He has taken over 95.7 The Hog today. You heard him earlier in the morning with the guys in the Morning Hog. Paul, I appreciate you joining us again this afternoon.
You bet.
Your new book is called Backstage Pass, and that is exactly where we need to start. What is it like before a show? Kiss known for the live show. All the energy you see on stage, is it like that backstage?
Well, it's interesting you say it, but for me, and I think for the guys, it's kind of the calm before the storm. We're backstage once we get ready, once we're in our war paint and fully suited up. Before we enter the arena, we're kind of just kicking our legs and kind of moving around, and it's kind of like the fighter in the corner before the bell rings. Those moments leading up to it are all prep, and it's like putting your foot on that launch before you run the race.
Absolutely. So if we jump around in time, like that old TV show Quantum Leap, take me backstage to 2014 at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. Tom Morello on stage singing the praises of Kiss, and the rest of the entire rock universe is giving you a standing ovation before you even come out. What is going through your mind backstage?
Well, it was validation for our fans, who it meant the world to. And Tom Morello did just a brilliant job. And it was vindication in the sense that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame kept us out for 17 years. And we're really left with no choice but to begrudgingly let us in. They treated us like crap even that night. We had trouble, how about this, getting into the arena.
Are you kidding?
And we had no idea about the rundown of the show or when we were getting on stage. It was disgraceful what they did, but we won.
Well, isn't that the story of Kiss from the beginning, though, is that people didn't give the validation?
Well, yeah, it's the story of Kiss from the beginning, that people who believed in themselves and who were told what they were doing wasn't worth anything and wouldn't succeed came out on top. And that's a life lesson for a lot of people, and maybe that's part of what's in Backstage Pass and was in the book before it, Face the Music. Face the Music is in 6 languages now, and what people loved about it when I spoke with them was that it really was pretty raw in terms of getting a glimpse into who I am and what I've been through. I'm deaf on my right side. I was born without an ear. And home life wasn't great, and there were all kinds of struggles. But my choice was either to roll up my sleeves and play with the cards that I was dealt and do my best to win, or to wallow in self-pity. And we're all faced with that to some degree or another. So Backstage Pass is a continuation. Is it a self-help book, a self-improvement book? Yeah, in the sense that the only person who can improve you and help you is you. So my book, the second one, is really about how I've dealt with things, because I can't tell you how to live your life. Maybe I can inspire you a little by what I've done. And it hasn't always been easy, and it's life is an ongoing challenge, but I want to break down that barrier between me and people who look up to me and let them know that we're walking the same road.
Paul, you have inspired so many, and it's an amazing journey over the past 40-plus years. Want to talk more with Paul Stanley from Kiss. New book out, Backstage Pass. Can you hang on for me?
You bet.
More with Paul Stanley as his takeover of 95.7 The Hog continues. Part of Quinn's Afternoon Army on 95.7 The Hog. Kiss, Heaven's on Fire, 95.7 The Hog. The unmistakable vocals of our guest today at the beginning of that song. He is a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. It is his day to take over the Hog. Paul Stanley. Paul, you and I were just talking off air about Dave, who checked in while the music was playing there. I guess his dad used to be head of security where you guys used to practice. It's amazing how far back the story goes. We'll get to more questions from listeners in just a minute, but you were talking earlier about not having the best upbringing, not a great life as a kid. It led you to rock. But if we go back just a few months, I saw you tweet out a photo of yourself and your 99-year-old father. The book is called Backstage Pass. Take me to that backstage moment.
I'm blessed, and that's part of what makes life so amazing, and we should all be open to, is that my dad's 99 now, and I have a relationship with him that I never could have imagined. He's everything to me. I was with him yesterday. He's totally all there. He reads the New York Times every day. He goes out to lunch. He was at our Los Angeles show and is coming to the next one. And if you told me that 10 years ago that it would be like that now, I'd say you're crazy. So the interesting thing, even between Face the Music and the new book, Backstage Pass, is how life goes on and evolves. And that's part of the interesting and exciting part about it, is that you don't have a bucket list, because if you're going to have a bucket list, please remember that as you cross things off, you got to add things. You should never complete your bucket list. That's a horrible thought.
It always should motivate you to move on to a new project and keep evolving. Now, we did allow people to ask questions on our Facebook page. Can you take a couple questions real quick from our listeners?
Sure.
Renee asks, "Hi, Paul. My first album was Kiss Destroyer. Favorite song was Detroit Rock City. Whose idea was it to put the crash sound bit in the song?"
We wanted to have at the beginning of it be kind of cinematic and set up the story. So the beginning of the song actually tells kind of like the narrative and the story of what happens during the song. The song really, although it's a song that sings about the incredible town of Detroit and how rock means so much to them and to us, it's also about somebody trying to get to a concert who doesn't make it. So that's really what was behind that beginning of the song.
And one more from a listener. Brian writes in, "Hey, Paul, Kiss is my favorite band of all time. I was wondering if you and the band have a final play date. Are you and the band going to still make studio albums? Because a lot of people still want to hear your music. Kiss rocks and always will."
Well, we do have a final date pretty much planned, and we're not announcing it yet, but it would be crazy to have the end of the road tour that never ends. So, yes, it does end. And in terms of recording, I can't really see it at this point. I think, but then again, look, I never thought I'd write a book, let alone two books. So I don't see it, but who knows?
Paul, in the book Backstage Pass, definitely want to pick that up. I heard you said something just recently about the band Kiss, that the band Kiss could, in theory, continue without any of the original members. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Sure. A band, an army, a team is about spirit, and it's not about the individuals, because members come and go in sports, and if somebody falls on the field during a battle in an army, someone else picks up the flag. So what I do on stage, I didn't invent the wheel. I'm a combination of all the people who inspired me, and hopefully there's someone else out there who could pick up the guitar and run with it also. So a lot of bands over the years, Steve Perry, brilliant singer, Arnell's doing a great job.
Sure.
I would be full of myself to say that this can't continue without me.
Well, as a diehard, lifelong Kiss fan, I hope we don't have to worry about that day for years to come. Paul Stanley, new book, Backstage Pass. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to take over 95.7 The Hog.
Thank you.